All right, here we are, episode 33, the Everday Bow Hunter podcast. Seems weird, episode 33. 3-3.
Rolling Rock.
Rolling Rock.
Sorry.
All right. Hey, once again, I'm Mike Manley. This is Dan Zemer. And in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about some off-season stuff, things that you do in the off-season to kind of start even preparing for next season. Did some late season hunting this weekend. Got a couple hunts in before the end of the season. It ended in Pennsylvania on Saturday.
Yep.
And there's a couple wildlife management units that go until the end of next week, but that's for, those few, I guess, that are overpopulated in PA. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about some bow stuff and Great American Outdoor Show. And at the end of the podcast, we're going to talk about our first giveaway.
Yeah.
Yes. First lucky subscriber, viewer, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I'm excited about that. That's cool.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about the future of what we're looking at for a monthly giveaway here on the podcast. So stay tuned for that till the end. All right. But this weekend I went to camp, and it was freezing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I pity the extended zone areas in our state that get to hunt later, because starting tonight, it's like 3 degrees and some wind.
Yeah.
I think the highs are like 12, stuff like that. I wouldn't want to be out there.
I was fortunate because
unless you're an Eskimo.
When I walked in Saturday morning, it was 26 degrees. And when I got out at 10 o'clock, it was 31. Not terrible,
right,
but it's cold. It's still cold. My hands, this is when you know it's cold. When I wasn't wearing any gloves. I just kept them in my pockets pretty much. And I had taken them out, and I was doing some bow draws, in the stand. And within like that 30 seconds or so that I did, because then I pulled out the rangefinder, and I'm range finding trees to make sure I know all my distances. And my hands were just like incredibly cold that fast. Just like fast. Bam. Yeah. I was like getting them back in my pocket and holding them like, oh my God.
It's something about having snow on the ground too that kind of intensifies it. Plus, if you're doing that first thing in the morning, again, we talked about this before, but that first hour of sunlight, it's almost like when it gets its coldest, and that's brutal. Yeah.
But with the snow on the ground and seeing the tracks and stuff, it was just great to get that.
It's like instant gratification, like verification, gratification,
Do you know the thing that I saw? This is kind of off the cuff, but the thing that I saw in the snow track-wise more than I expected in different areas. Around camp, I'd expect it more.
What, Bigfoot? Sorry. You just looked at me like, you just looked at me like, oh, you dick.
My mouth was open. No, I was like, but no, rabbit tracks.
Okay.
Right. I went to 3 different locations on Saturday and Friday night too. Friday evening, I did some pre-scouting in some areas, and went in the woods. And I was like, man, I have never. And you can tell me if you've seen it, but I've never seen a rabbit while I was out in the woods hunting.
Not up there, not like in the hardwoods.
No,
I like down by the fields. Yeah, I've seen them.
By the fields.
Yeah, but that's it. That's
why I was amazed.
Yeah,
I kept seeing rabbit tracks, and I was like, I cannot believe there's rabbit tracks.
There's probably something to it. And we should ask our cousins that beagle hunt. A lot. I think they hunt in the snow and colder. So I think something might be up with this time of year with that. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, anybody listening, put it in the comments and let us know what you think about that, because I'm definitely not an expert on rabbits.
No.
But I was shocked because I told you I went to that one area, that knob and stuff, and I'm up there and I'm like, okay, I'm seeing possum tracks. I saw what I thought was probably raccoon. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, there's the rabbits. And rabbits are so easy to identify the way they...
What's the difference between a possum track and a raccoon track? I mean, they're kind of like all but the same, aren't they?
Yeah, I just went by size.
Okay, yeah.
The possum ones are really small, and or it could be small raccoon.
Or a fisher.
Or fisher, yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely not an expert on their tracks.
Right.
But I just assume based on the way they look and stuff. And the fact that the ones that, well, they all go to trees. What am I saying? They all go to trees. But,
yeah. Touche.
Yeah. But before we get into the late season stuff and talk about that, we have a couple things we're going to jump in here first. First thing I'm going to talk about is, I had talked about this before. Exodus Outdoors, if you had got their trail cameras at all, I had 4 cameras I had gotten 2 of their rivals at one point, and a year later I got 2 more. So I had 4 of their cameras. They went out of business as of the end of December. The thing that disappoints me about Exodus Outdoors is they did do a podcast about it. They poured their guts out about all the things that happened to them that made them go out of business. It's a great listen. If you can go to their YouTube channel or podcast, you could see the looks on these guys' faces. They were just
gutted about it,
heartbroken.
Yeah.
They really got screwed by their vendor in China that was doing their camera stuff, and it hurt them bad. But anyway, so one of our listeners, the bow troll, thank you, man, I appreciate it, contacted me via Instagram and told me, he said, hey, he's like, you have those Exodus cameras, right? He said Tacticam has a trade-in program that if you send them your trail cameras, your Exodus trail cameras, they will send you back brand new, Pro Tacticam 3 Reveal.
Sorry, yeah, I wasn't looking at your crotch. I was looking over at the knee because you said rival, and then I was looking. I was like, I thought I had saw that earlier. Yeah,
This is if you're watching on
Reveal.
YouTube, I'm holding the camera up right here. They sent me, these are the no glow.
You know what would have been funny?
What?
They were the rival. It would have been funny if it would have been the revival. Sorry,
but if you're familiar with the Tacticam Reveal Pro 3.0, that's the cameras they sent me. Now, I was able to contact their customer support. They basically said, if you send all your old cameras to us, we will send you these brand new Pro cameras, and all it costs is, of course, I had to ship them, but $10 per camera. And with that $10 per camera, it's basically paying for the shipping back to me. And so I did. I got 4 brand new Tacticam cameras. Now, while I was in the midst of this, I found out that Moultrie is doing it as well. Moultrie was giving out the Edge 2, not the Edge 2 Pro, but the Edge 2. And I don't know if they were asking for any money for that or if it was a straight trade-in or what.
Right.
But they're doing it as well. The reason why, even after hearing that I stuck with Tacticam is because right now I have 4 Moultrie cameras, and now I have 4 Tacticam cameras. It is a perfect opportunity for me to test these and their apps and the service against each other, monetarily, quality, everything.
I'll tell you what, in a marketing standpoint, it's pretty genius that both Tacticam and Moultrie are doing this.
Yeah.
They're trying, like it's a race to get their customers. You know what I mean? That's pretty smart.
Because the money they make in the long term is the monthly fee they get from your cameras and stuff, and it can be pretty salty after a while. So I'm going to be paying out here a little bit.
That's why I said I'd buy one of you. I was like, I'll give you $10 because that's what you. Nope. I'll give 15. Nope. All right, 16. No,
because you took out the thing that I actually bought the other camera.
I know, it was a joke.
But anyway, I think if you have an Exodus camera and you didn't know about this, go ahead and you can contact either Tacticam or Moultrie, and you'll be able to trade your cameras in and get brand new cameras. Instead of, I was going with the Scouttech. In fact, Scouttech, which was the app that Exodus had before they did make their own app, I contacted Scouttech. They did send me brand new SIM cards to use with the cameras. I had actually hooked up one of them, and my camera did not connect. So I felt like luckily the Tacticam and Moultrie thing was available. Mm-hmm. I didn't test all 4 of my cameras. I only tested one. So I was like, I don't know what the firmware issue was with the Exodus cameras starting off, but it could be an issue that didn't allow the Scouttech SIM card to work. I don't know. All I know is it didn't connect. So I said, okay, I'm glad I can do this because my camera's going to, even though you can use those Exodus cameras in trail cam only mode, not cell cam mode, regular mode, I felt like it was an opportunity to test out these new cameras too.
So maybe I wasn't paying attention. Maybe I was still thinking about Rolling Rock and Bigfoot, but, or Bigfoot then Rolling Rock. But anyway, did you say why you were disappointed in them? about not sending out a mass email for the people that did not watch the.
Yeah, I was disappointed. Oh, yes, I'm disappointed at Exodus Outdoors for not sending out a mass email to everybody. In fact, I went to their website. I don't know if their website says it now. I went there a couple days ago, and it didn't say anything about them going out of business. And I was like, a podcast is not enough.
Not everybody watches podcasts.
Not everybody watches podcasts. You need to email your customers, let them know this stuff.
I mean, it's not hard to send out an email. I get 5 a day from Kuyu. You know what I mean? Like all day today, I'm like, yes, I know you're having a sale. Stop it.
Yeah, you should see my inbox. It's horrible.
They take advantage of the fact that you allow them into your email world. And then, I mean, look, you don't have to send me 4 in one day about the same damn sale.
Yeah.
It gets a little like...
They can be relentless.
Yeah, so...
But anyway, so I thought, that's an important thing to know, trail camera wise. But I guess the bottom line now is I have 2 sets of cameras from 2 different companies that I'm able to test against each other here. There's some features I'll get from these pros that I won't get from my Edge cameras, but that's, I'm looking at the overall service.
Now, maybe this is something I don't know about, and I'm kind of just speaking out of turn, but I'm kind of curious too, because I want to know with battery length, what does the camera pull? What does it need to? Do you get what I'm saying about that?
That's like,
you could put good batteries in, and one camera could eat them faster than the other.
Well, there's a thing with that I've learned from using these cameras for a while now, and this is the thing some people are naive about, because I see comments from people on different lithium batteries and stuff, and I'm actually testing a company called Bevigor. I don't even know if that's the right way to pronounce it. Lithium batteries, and they're in a camera that's in my yard. My dog gets, every time he goes out there to take a leak, he's getting.
I'm too sexy for my. Sorry.
But the thing about a cell camera is you have multiple things that are going to drain your battery. Any kind of trail camera, right? First off, you get an animal in front of there. It's now active. The camera's active. If you have a camera on video mode, it will suck your batteries dry in a month if you have any kind of activity. I had that one camera running. It sucked my batteries down. I changed it to photo only mode, and my camera lasted for a whole year on one set of lithium batteries.
Right. Yeah.
So, and it, was a moderate traffic area. It wasn't super high traffic. Mm-hmm. So that's the things you have to look at. You can't blame your battery if you have it on video mode and you got tons of traffic in front of your camera. You got video, and if it's in a low coverage area that it's constantly fighting to connect to the tower, it's going to suck your batteries dry. Mm-hmm. This is just the nature of the beast. If you don't understand these things and then your battery life,
don't blame the batteries.
Yes, but here's the thing that I've done to try to mitigate that. One, I was lucky enough to get some solar panels from Moultrie. I didn't have to pay for those, but I did go and get, for these Reveal cameras, I got 2 of their lithium power packs. And I got 2 power mags for the Moultrie cameras. Their power mags are lithium packs too.
Right.
It allows you to just really charge them with the US. Both of them you can charge with the USB-C cable, and the even better is I haven't tested it with the Reveal yet because I haven't even taken these out of the package. But with the Moultrie, you can take their battery pack here out. You put that power mag in. I can load this with batteries now, and my camera dies. I walk out to the woods to where the camera is. I hit eject, take that battery pack out. I put this one in. Boom, I'm done. I don't have to take the camera out of the tree or anything.
Right. And
just replace it. And that there, to me, is great. And the power packs, if you have those, they're replacing these lithium batteries you can charge those packs over and over again. Mm-hmm. And while the power mags are fairly salty, if you're running cameras constantly and you're really into it,
then you're not spending the money on
the lithium batteries. If you get on for Energizer lithiums, you're paying, a good amount of money for those. So anyway, long story short is
you need 16 of them if you want a full bank.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes, and that's quite a bit of cash.
Yeah,
lithiums.
Yeah.
And you burn them up doing video. If you want to do video and stuff, get it. 2 power mags for one camera can get kind of expensive really quick, but so can all those lithium batteries.
Yeah.
So you got to do the math on how you're running stuff and say what's the most economical choice. I'm doing a 2 and 2 because I want to kind of do an experiment to see if they really are worth the money, and
Right.
if it's how long they last in comparison, and if it's saving me money on lithiums.
Yeah.
Which I have a feeling it will.
Yeah.
But so anyway, that's the deal with the.
And
with
you
the
might
trail
get a
camera.
picture of Bigfoot.
I might get I could set it up. I'm going to set it up on Andy Muster's property next to his water hole, and get all his footage out there.
Sorry, bro.
So yeah, a friend of ours, Andy Muster, who's been on the show a long time ago. And he created a water hole out in the woods.
Yeah, on his property.
On his property, and man, that tracks all kinds of game. It's incredible.
I mean, he gets like anything from owls and hawks in it to like every deer.
Yeah.
Like
What's
it's
crazy
pretty cool.
is the birds will go in there and bathe. They'll be in there bathing
yeah.
and stuff, and then poor deer come up and
drink that bird shit.
It's crazy. It's crazy how their immune systems are incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things we were talking about in the last episode is the fact that I'm looking to get a new bow. So both Dan and I have been watching all kinds of review videos and stuff on bows. And
I do this every year normally, like around the ATA show.
Yeah.
Just to see what just came out and stuff like that. And, YouTube, if you just put in like 2025 ATA show, check out all the new stuff that's coming out. It's pretty cool. I don't know. I'm kind of like a fanboy for all that new stuff coming out. And like, that's where curiosity really gets you, because you're like, ooh, I wonder how that would be, or this or that, or how you learn about new products.
So I was telling Jevin about my issues with the Matthews lift. When I pull it to full draw, the cams come over, it makes a thud.
Yeah, like I said, we videotaped it.
Yes.
We should probably post it. somewhere.
Yes, I do need to do like a video of that. But anyway, Jevin's like, makes a sound. What do you mean it makes a sound? So I actually went and threw an arrow in my bow, and I drew and did it like twice for him. And he goes, wow, that really does make a sound. I said, yeah, at the most important moment. So because of that, and I don't know if the new Lift X corrects that. I have a feeling they probably did, based on some of the input from people I've seen online. But I'm just like turned off from Matthews now. And it doesn't matter if the Lift X, the new bow they put out, is the bee's knees or whatever. I'm just not want anything to do with that now. I'm turned off of it.
Sorry, I'm kind of stuck between all worlds because I'm on my third different maker, and I kind of got. When you do something sometimes and you're kind of just going on a whim, and it turns out to be like the greatest thing, it kind of surprises you.
Yeah.
Like, I loved my Matthews Adrenaline. It was my first bow. Had it for like 13 years. I loved that bow. It was good to me. Went through a couple sets of strings on it. It was a great bow. Solo cam, like just a great performing bow. No weird sounds, smooth as could be, like great bow. Then I got that Bowtech, and it was more the BTX. It was more kind of for speed. That was my first kind of walk into the speed bow world. Mm-hmm. And I loved that thing. That was a machine. Boy, that thing shot darts. It was, it cooked. That's when I tore the muscle in my arm, and I was like, you know what? I need to go off to a crossbow for a while just to rehab myself, get better. And I got the crossbow. So when I got tired of not having a compound, I missed that. That's when I went to the Elite. I didn't know it and realize at the time when I bought it, I was like, yeah, this is nice. This will get me through it. I kind of got a cheaper floor model that they were a leftover, we'll call it, so I got a good deal on it. And I'll tell you what, it turned out to be the best bow I ever had so far. Best shooting, best smoothness, best just,
yeah.
And it turned me into, I'll use this word again, the fanboy thing. Mm-hmm. It turned me into such a fanboy for Elite. And now the new Artist came out, and it's geared for your tree stand climber guy, your saddle guy, because it's only 30 inches axle to axle. So you could really kind of get in those. And I was like thinking, I'm like, man, that would be great in a blind too, because your shorter axle to axle, you can move better, stuff like that.
That Matthews I have is the 29.5.
Right.
Yep.
Which is short. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The thing that I've looked at now is the bows that I've looked at that I've watched review videos on and felt like the Hoyt I like. I just the way the ability to tune or do anything yourself is just not there. You have to take it to a pro shop. You have to.
And the price point of an RX-9. And I think the RX-9 went more kind of like Matthews did with that, wanting to jump that sportier cam system.
Yeah.
Where the RX-8 was still back a little bit from that. Mm-hmm. But the price point on an RX-8 leftover is still $1,400-$1,500. Yeah, it's like crazy.
Yeah. So I was looking at, which these bows are expensive as hell too, is the PSEs, the PSE Mach 30 DS and the 33 DS.
Yeah, they're really expensive.
Really expensive. And I looked at the Decree, PSE Decree, which is about the same price as the Matthews lift that I paid last year.
And then there's some newer bow, the Expeditions. They're expensive as all get. Obsession's back.
Do you know who I keep hearing from people that they say is the bow to get right now?
The Darton?
The Darton.
Yeah. I've been kind of reading about that too.
I don't know much about Dartons.
I'm going to say this too about the Obsessions. I was this close to buying the Obsession. And the guy at the shop came up to me, Nate, and he's like, I wouldn't buy that. And I'm like, yeah, but it's when you're selling it in your store. He's like, look, I'm kind of they just went out of business. I don't know if I'll be able to get parts for it if something happens. I can't promise that. He's like, was there something else that you really liked? And it was the Elite. But anyway, Obsession's back. Somebody, whatever firm bought Martin and Martin bought Obsession. Yeah. So Obsession is back, and I'll tell you what.
But I have not seen
bow.
them.
I was really
I've not seen them in any stores though.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah.
Keyword. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
everything that review wise out there. I watch videos from Extreme Outfitters, from Now Because of You, Podium Archer, MFJJ.
MFJJ. Yeah.
Him. You know what his review videos? He doesn't really talk about shootability a lot. He talks about the specs of the bow and how fast they are. He doesn't really talk about shootability and the draw a lot. How that feels, how quiet it is. He does he does a little bit. He does how the sound is when it's shot, but not too much when the draw. A lot of times
because he actually measures the sound, the vibration, all that. Yeah.
So the one that you were looking at and sent to me to look at was the Elite Artist.
The Artist. I'm enamored by it. Like again, a little bit of a fanboy because I have an Elite and I fell in love with it. And you really liked my Elite. So I was, I guess, in a way, kind of push it. Like, still kind of a little bit of a Bowtech fanboy too. Like, I really like the Core SS. I got to shoot that day. I got to shoot the Core SS.
A lot of people talk about the Core SS.
And the SS is what? Super smooth? Yes. The SS stands for super smooth. I'll tell you what a good shoot, what a machine. I love Bowtechs. They're great bows, man.
Well, I'm going to go up here to Extreme Archery. Extreme Archery in York, PA is a place that I go a lot. Great shop. To go up there and look at these bows and see if I can do test shots on them.
And you can.
Yeah. So, and just before I go out to the outdoor show, and you know what, if I talk to them up there and they'll give me a decent trade in for my bow, I give my money. I pay the extra to give my money to a local shop. To support them. Lancaster Archery gets a lot of business,
and it's easier than dealing with eBay or this or that.
Yeah. So plus, I could just go up to the shop if I need help with it.
Yeah,
those guys are awesome.
Yeah.
So anyway, so moving on. Late season bow hunting. So I was up in the mountains at our hunting camp. Camp Windy Valley Camp. Windy Valley Camp. And I was up there. And Friday night I went and I did some I wanted to do some tracking. We had snow on the ground up there. Not everywhere, but quite a few places. And I had walked up the mountain a little bit and just seen the kind of tracks that I was seeing. And because of the snow melt, a lot of the tracks, Dan's over here yawning.
I was in the snow all day. It wore me out.
Yeah. You could see where the deer were coming through and everything, and it kind of pushed me. I ended up hunting down there where Mark shot his doe.
Oh.
Hunted right there.
My spot.
Yeah. I saw a doe there the next morning, but at like 70, 80 yards and was running up the hill. And because of how thin things are.
Were you facing up the mountain?
Facing up, yeah.
And she came from your right?
Came from the right going up.
Okay.
Yeah. And looked almost like she was out on the trail going up.
She was.
Yeah.
That's where she was at.
Yeah. So anyway, the thing about it is last week we talked, or last podcast, I should say, we talked about things to look for when you're doing, whether you're late season hunting or you're late season scouting. Now is the time to get out there. You can get so much intel on stuff that happened through the season. But what I ended up running into was, we had talked about the deer looking for food. Right now is a food time. I went to an area where I've been trying to narrow down a buck that I literally saw the last day of rifle season. I saw it when it was a 6 2 years ago. I believe it's the same deer anyway. What I had come out and rifle, I'm getting dressed at the car. I have my headlamp on, and I just hear something in the leaves, and because it's real crunchy and cold, and boom, this deer comes up on the road, and I have my headlamp on it, and this beautiful buck, nice big rack, high and tight, and just stands there in the road looking at me. I'm like, son of a bitch. And he continues to walk, and I have him in the woods, kind of turn my head away and then come back at him. You get his, his eyes in the woods, and all I could see was his eyes reflecting back at me. But anyway, I went to that area.
Was this like where we went the last day of rifle in the morning?
It's Fox Hollow.
Yeah.
Fox Hollow. Yeah. And it's on the point just on the other side of the road above there. I go up on the point where I had suspected that I found.
He's been hiding.
I found bedding here previously, and I went up and I stumbled upon bedding again. But what I found around that bedding was just tore up areas that if you didn't know any better, you would think it was turkey scratchings, but it's just down to the ground through, inch or two of snow, through a big, good bed of leaves, down to the ground where that deer is just going to the ground. And the amount of fresh rubs that I saw surrounding this area, it was an area about, I want to say I covered probably a 300 square yard area. And the entire 300 yard area was just pockets of this deer destroying the ground to get down to it for food, rubs nearby, and then boom, in the middle of it, about 20 yards for the edge of where that point comes over, almost like a cliff. It's really steep.
Yeah.
20 yards from that, I have a bed with hair in it. I sent these guys a picture of a big clump of hair in the bed. And that is the stuff that now is so much easier to see than, especially if you have an area where you're snow on the ground, so much easier to see than you'll ever see anytime else. And does that mean that deer is going to bed there, in during deer season? Not necessarily at all. But since I found beds there during deer season previously, not too far away from there, probably 100 yards from that spot, that my biggest thing is that is such a bulletproof spot for that deer. So hard to get up in there on him. If he's there before it gets light,
trying to sneak in there and playing the wind right
and all that is just a tough
and thermals
tough
because you're going up and that's tough.
And the noise you make going up there, that's why I think he's there, because it is a tough spot. The only
he could really watch over every little thing that's happening.
Everything.
That's a really unique position for him to be. Yeah.
Yes, and the fact is, I would never have looked in this spot ever. I got to credit Dan Infalt, because I watched one of Dan Infault's videos. He's talking about, he's like, deer love, they're very curious animals. He said, and they will bed right next to parking areas. They'll sit there and watch everybody walk by on the same trail going in. And if you come off that trail, even 10 yards, they're going to run. But if you stay on that trail, they're going to be there. And he talked about multiple instances where he had seen the sign, right? Pushed a deer out, said, oh, he's in here. And then literally planned to park himself far away from that parking lot and walk a long distance to get around to where he could set himself up for that deer off of that, just sitting on a point next to the parking area. So He said, don't underestimate the fact that these bucks will bed close to there because it gives them entertainment and they can watch stuff, and it's also a security thing, blah, blah, blah. They don't always have to be in the upper 1/3 of the mountain. And so I started investigating these areas. This is what sent me to Mossy Oak, to that point down there, right? Was found bedding in there, doe bedding, not buck bedding. But then this spot here, and I investigated it last year is when I started investigating it. So it has taught me that, one, Dan Hemfault knows what the hell he's talking about, because I've now taken this information, put it into my kit bag, and you can put it in yours as well as a listener, and say, hey, these are the things I need to investigate, right? And
okay, so you're going to have to go park down by Shortstop and cut over, or well short of Fox Hollow, and get up and come back in.
I was thinking the only way I could do it for a morning hunt would be to
you got to run parallel with it.
3 in the morning.
You can't in the morning there. If you come up from behind them, go up higher and come down on them, your scent's going to be pulling down right into them. You're going to have to like sneak in parallel with them. That's going to be tough.
It's a very tough spot. It's just so tough. That's why this deer can live multiple years there and not, the only point that a buck like that is susceptible to getting killed is on a drive during rifle season,
right,
and during the rut when he's chasing a doe and he's just now
dumb.
Yeah. And that's the challenge for us, especially we're in a low deer density area. We really, found
the hard
this
part.
season.
The hard part for us is their escape plan is foolproof. For us, it's brutal. Up.
Yeah.
You got to go to, you know what I mean?
Yes.
We're going vertical, bro. One of them deals. It's like,
you got to go up there.
Like, they're either going to go up or they're going to go down. They're going to cross the water where you can't cross it to get to them. Yeah. And that's tough, So we're at a strategic disadvantage at all times. So that's why we got to hunt twice as hard.
Yeah. But that food thing, the acorns that I could see the acorns that the deer was eating. He's going down and getting that leftover acorns that didn't get eaten during the season. He's looking for them. He's scratching around. Their nose is so good they can smell that.
At what point do they stop eating acorns that aged out? Like how? I guess they smell a certain way that they're still good.
I guess it depends on how they taste to them or whatever. That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I'm going to have to find out. Ask
Trevor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I often wondered that, you'll see acorns that are uneaten, but
from the previous year.
The previous year. And I'm thinking to myself, did they age out? At what point did deer stop thinking that, or do they lose nutritional value? Do they, you know what I mean? That don't make it worth it or did they just ate that many acorns throughout the drop that they're freaking tired of them and they want to change their diet?
The other thing that I saw was this area is not super thick with saplings, but they're there, younger trees that are in the area. And I saw a lot of that woody browse, the small sprouts and stuff, really chewed up. So the deer are also on that woody browse. If you're in a woods, or a big woods area where you're not next to ag, they're gonna get on that stuff. There's not very many other options outside of mast. Beech nuts. You got other different mast crop stuff.
I think them little green. I think they're actually like little birches. So they taste amazing. Deer like birch beer. No, but it's, But sorry, that was stupid.
This buck also likes, that was stupid. This buck seems to like pines too, for rubs.
Oh yeah.
He was on a lot of the trees you normally see, the smooth side, young, small, smaller trees. We just destroyed them. He did a great job on that. But that was, to me, really great to see. In fact, I had one of the cell cameras with me, and I tried to set it up there, but no connection.
Damn.
Yeah, it is spotty up there.
Well, that's weird because down below it in Fox, I get service down, which is down. It make sense.
I walked down there towards the stream, and I got service.
Make it make sense.
But up with the high point where you think you get it, I didn't get service. So anyway,
what?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the thing with cell cameras you have to deal with. So I figured I have a camera over here that's a solar camera, but it's not a cellular camera. It's just a standard trail camera.
Right.
I think I'm going to throw up in there. So
I think cell cams make you lazy.
They do.
You know?
The thing I failed to talk about, Dan, is Jevin, who we had talked about previously. Our buddy Jevin had gotten that nice buck last week in archery season. He had went back up. Jevin's a hunter, man. Last weekend, not this past weekend here, but the previous one, which would be the second week of January. He went up. It snowed on the ground. It was snowing. He pulled it. He sent us a picture from a convenience gas station, store gas station, and covered with snow. He went up. He crossed this spillway water, big body of water. He said that you could stand on the ice in the lake, right? Went across, hunted this spot that we know is a great funnel for doe and buck, right? And didn't Jevin get a doe now too? And then all by himself up there, had to drag it, carry it across that water by himself. And luckily they would get a cart and drag it up to his car there and stuff. But what a beast for going out there and doing it in the cold and
by himself. That's awesome.
It was really cold that weekend.
Yeah.
I think that was down near 20 degrees or so.
Right.
Yeah. So congrats to you, Jevin. You put it out this season, man. You were on it for sure.
No
Dedicated.
doubt. Absolutely.
Dedicated. So congrats to you for that. So you have anything to add to the late season stuff there, Dan?
No, I'm excited. It's that time of the year. It's like, so everything that got released at the ATA show, we're going to now see these products in a couple weeks at the outdoor show.
Great American Outdoor Show in Harrisburg, PA. We're definitely going to be there.
So you got to see them on video, and now you get to get your hands on.
Yep.
And this is like, just alone, I'm quite content going into the archery hall and leaving. But this year I'm kind of after some more merino base layers, stuff like that. I go on call this weekend.
I'm glad you said that. Go ahead.
I go on call this weekend, so I'm going to have a couple extra $100 to spend up there. And, like I said, I kind of I'd said in, I think, the last podcast where I lack the most is in my base layer. And I think this off season, that's my agenda, is to address that.
So you talk about base layers. I have to thank the Bow Troll once again. He emailed me about this, or messaged me on Instagram about this.
I know what you're going to say.
He asked me, and let's see if any of the listeners had heard of this stuff. But it's really big now in the backpacker community, those that do backcountry hiking and stuff like that. Mesh base layers. And he asked me, have you ever heard of mesh base layers? And I was, no. He sent me a video, and after that I watched probably half dozen videos of this. And this is big in Scandinavia, Norway, Finland. They are really, really big on a mesh base layer. And the reason for this, and it's not just wearing some fishnet, there's a method to the madness for how it's put together and everything. But the whole thing behind this is that as your base layer, right, it allows your sweat to come through while it's still in vapor, right?
Don't mind me. I had a gnarly vision quest.
You should have seen me in it this weekend. So
no, it was like they go sweat it out in the mountain with their fishnet, and then by night they're in raves. And
well, let's just say, I don't think when I'm getting dressed to go out hunting, you want to check me out. I don't think that's not something anybody wants to see.
No.
But anyway, so Bow Troll turned me on to this, and one of the only companies that sell this in the USA specifically is a company called Brynja, right? And Brynja is a company out of Norway. They make this, and the reviews and the stuff that I saw about this stuff, phenomenal. So I contacted Brynja, and they instantly sent me a pair of this to bottoms and top to review, which was fantastic. I went out this weekend with it. I purposely did not layer up as heavily as I normally do because I really wanted to test it. I sweated when I walked up in the mountain in the morning. I sweated my ass off too. So I was wearing lower budget gear. I went in with True Timber stuff on, and I never got cold. And the thing that really baffled me was when I got back to camp and I was taking my stuff off, the mesh was bone dry. My mid layer that was over top of it
Was soaked.
was bone dry. And my jacket, the inside of my actual jacket that I wore over top of everything, was all damp inside. And I thought that was pretty telling. I actually took video of it too.
How it pulls it away from you.
Yeah, all
From your
that
skin.
moisture went through because I also had on the True Timber, what's it called? It's called the Late Run Pullover. And it's a fleece, high pile fleece pullover. It's actually unique. I haven't seen anything like this from anybody else. And they might have it in other clothing, but it's actually has zippers on the sides that go up in basically into your armpits, right? And you can open this up and it's a half zip. You can open it up and have you can have heavy stuff on and pull this down over you and then pull the zippers down over your base layers if it's tight or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Right? So it's pretty cool in that regard. So I had that on, and then I had their true suede down jacket on, and I never got cold,
Yeah.
And so I thought that was really telling, and that was my first, second. I had done a small hike the weekend before with the base layers on, but I didn't think that gave me good data. This here, I think, gave me really good data. I still need to do more. I don't think 1 or 2 shots of it's enough. I think I need to do back-to-backs where I hike with a regular base layer on and that to kind of compare them to each other, to see.
Yeah.
But the amazing thing to me was the fact that it did what it said it to do. It was supposed to allow your sweat in vapor form primarily to get through to that mid layer, right? And I had a merino layer on top of that.
And that pulls too.
I normally would have like a 250 on or whatever, but I had just a 400 on, right? I had a 400 on from -33, and then I had that late run pullover on and that jacket. That was it. I didn't have my normal layering system on, so I went lower to see. It was, like I said, it was 26 degrees when I walked in, and I wanted to see how it would work and how long it would take me to get cold. Well, through 10 o'clock, I never got cold.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
The only thing that actually got cold on me, because I also did another test, right? Cotton is your enemy when you're talking about cold weather stuff. Cotton is bad. If you think, oh, I wear a cotton sweatshirt, I wear jeans, all this stuff keeps me warm, well, you could be warmer. Because on the list of materials out there that keep you warm, cotton is last on the list.
Bad R factor.
And it has a terrible, when it gets wet ratio of
Dry.
That wetness, how it can still retain warmth. It is horrible. Cotton is your enemy. When you sweat into it, whatever. If you're wearing cotton out there, you say, well, I can't afford anything else. Believe me, you can get polypropylene layering stuff, base layers. Excuse me, I'm all jacked up on that. Base layers. That's like old Army stuff. Also Amazon. That's like under $20. That's excellent gear.
Polypropylene. Isn't that Vaseline?
No.
Sorry. It was a joke.
Dan's jokes today are not hitting. I think he drank cream soda tonight.
It's good.
He normally drinks beer. We're gonna make sure the next
I'm all
time
jacked up on sugar.
make sure Dan's drinking beer next time.
Oh.
But anyway, I thought that the mesh base layer thing is something that, like I said, if you go and look up on it, do videos on YouTube, you're going to see that there's videos that show how the vapor of your sweat goes through.
Yeah.
Keeps you guys that did really in-depth testing. I mean, really in-depth testing on it. And the amount of, and you go in the comments and people that have used it or actively using it, it's like I don't know why companies in the U.S. don't make this, but I
Tell
think,
you what, that video was awesome.
Yeah.
The video that the Bow Troll sent you.
Yes.
Then you sent me, hey, check us out. That was all. It was very telling.
Yes.
It all made sense.
You know what
I mean?
In the description on YouTube for this podcast, I'll put a link to that video so you can check it out and see what we're talking about. In fact, I have 2 different videos that are excellent that you need to look at.
Yeah.
That are great. And the fact that if you even look at the reviews on Brynja's site as well, which I'll put that there too, and see the reviews that people leave for that stuff, it's great. And if it continues to work like this for me, this will be my base layer for life, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's actually, I thought it was going to be crazy expensive.
It's not horrible.
It's not terrible. You pay the same for these other base layers.
Yeah.
So
I'm interested. And I'm kind of looking forward to checking it out, get my hands on it, and see what it's like.
yeah, actually I have it hanging upstairs. It's probably dry already because it dries like fast.
That's funny.
So I got their super mesh, super thermo mesh, and that's the polyester based stuff.
Yeah.
They also have it in merino too.
Yeah.
So they have both. They recommended me to do the synthetic. So I
Right.
did the synthetic and it worked great. So
Yeah.
all right, then you want to talk about last thing we're going to talk about too here today is our giveaway.
Yeah. So how do you want to do that?
All right, so for the person that we're starting off with here, it's a long-term person that's been a huge fan of the podcast for a while, and
Yes.
we'd like to reward this individual for their nonstop, support of the podcast and the channel.
Yeah. So I had said to Mike, hey, the first giveaway, can we give it to this guy? Because like every video that we have, he's one of the first ones to comment or comments in it. And he's always given us great positive, not
feedback.
that we need positive reinforcement or anything, but like he seems like just such a genuine dude. And like I kept seeing this name come across, this name kept hitting. And I was like, dude, the first giveaway, like instead of it being a rando, like can we hook this guy up? And Mike's like, I totally agree. So
Yep. So before you drop it, Mark Blanchette 1771. If you comment on this,
that way we can get your information, be able to message Mike and get you a shirt sent out. Let us know your size, your address, stuff like that, so we can get it sent out to
and
you.
we can get that sent out to you as our first giveaway. Now, what I'm going to do here, I have some software set up, and I'm going to start doing where you can enter every month to win something. I'm going to be giving away everything from trail cameras to gear, really depending on the time of the year and stuff. It's kind of hot for that. At some point here, getting into turkey season, want to look at some like bug gear, maybe, like a bug hoodie or something like that, and see what we can do to support you the way you're supporting us and give back. So, Mark, please comment. If you don't, I guess I'm going to have to go back to a previous podcast and contact you.
Contact you that way, yeah.
But if you do, jump on here and support the channel. And if you haven't already, if you're new to the podcast, go on your podcast platform, whether it's app or whatever, give us a 5-star review. Tell us what you think about the podcast. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, as always, man, we appreciate every single one of you. Thank you.
I don't think there's a comment we don't answer.
Yeah.
And I think I answered like 3 comments today of people questions on different stuff. We'd love to hear your comments. We also like to hear, the things that you'd like to hear from us.
Yeah.
So if
like that feedback helps. Gives us
things that you'd like to hear from us.
Yeah.
Any gear you'd like to talk about or whatever, things like that. Just come in and let us know, and we'll definitely jump on it. But we appreciate you. And we want to continue to show that. So that's where the giveaways are coming from.
And thank you very much.
Yep. And until next time, we'll see you later. Hey, this is Mike once again. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you want even more content from the Everyday Bow Hunter, I invite you to go over to everydaybowhunter.com or archeryhunting.com. It's the same website for the Everyday Bow Hunter. In addition, if you haven't subscribed, go to our YouTube channel. We have a lot more than the podcast there. Have more video coming every day, a lot more content. In addition, if you go over on your podcast channels, if you're already there, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever, please give us a 5-star review. Give us a follow. We really appreciate it. In addition, if you see an Everyday Bow Hunter shirt like this, go ahead, go to the website, go to YouTube, click on it, buy one of our shirts. Every little bit helps. We're not sponsored by anybody. In addition, in our descriptions and our show notes, we highlight products that we use and buy that we love. Now, every time you click on one of those links, we get a small commission. It really helps us out. Like I said, we're not sponsored by anyone. You're our sponsor. So with your support, we can make this channel even better. I appreciate it. And until then, I will see you next time.